Okay, I'm recording.
Yep.
All right. Listen here, feller. I have been playing a lot of Stardew Valley this week, and I just wanted to talk about something that I think is very funny in terms of playing, just like games that have like a certain behavior around it that are usually deemed like not good behavior,
Yep.
but it's okay because it's a video game. And what I'm referring to, and what many Stardew Valley players know, is that a lot of players, I don't, I figure most everyone else does this. I only really have one other friend who plays Stardew Valley, but him and I talk about this all the time because we think it's so funny that we engage in highly stalkerish behavior regarding the game and the citizens, because there's this whole thing about um, relationships and just getting to know people. And I'm sure the intent for the game was to be like, oh, they take time out of their day, they run around, they figure out like what people's schedules are, and what kind of gifts they like. And in the game, it didn't do this in the early releases of it, but it'll actually record what each NPC's uh, preferences are for gifts, and like if they hate it, if they love it, if they don't really care, blah 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 blah. But the thing is, I have never ever taken any time or care in remembering that stuff, and I'll just Google it up. Like, um, there's someone in the game called Mayor Lewis. I'll be like, what's Mayor Lewis doing Thursday afternoon from 3 to 5 in summer? And then it'll bring it up and it'll be like, oh, he likes to stand by the river and just stand there for 6 hours or something like that. Like, tight. I'm gonna go run over there. What kind of gifts does he like? Like, oh, he loves a baguette. It's the perfect time to give it to him. I'm like, okay, cool, cool. Okay, so I'm looking for a love interest. Who has the best hard events? Which is like once you get to a certain level of friendship with someone, you get this hard event, and something will happen. But there's also dialogue that happens in the event which affects your relationship with this person. So of course, when I get the text, like you get like 3 or 4 options, I think, and I don't want to fuck up and get them mad at me. So I'll just Google up like what happens if I say this to Penny in the sixth hard event, and what effect do I get? Because I think it's a funny answer, and then the wiki page is like, don't do that. She'll fucking hate that. Like, oh, okay, cool. I won't say that then. But I'm past that point now. But I was just thinking about it the other day because um I'm thinking about going through and experiencing the other hard events for all the other NPCs because I've never done that before, and kind of at that point in the game where I either do like an overhaul for optimization of like bringing in cash or just doing things that I have never done before, which is basically talk to the other NPCs. So I'm thinking about doing that maybe, but it's going to be a lot of stalking on the internet for these people. And I don't relish them because my Google search is going to be just littered with like, oh, what's Marcus doing at 9 p.m. What's he getting up to? I need to go give him something.
Does he like rocks?
does he like does he like rocks? How does he feel about weeds? I have a daffodil here left over from spring. Can I give that to him? Oh, he doesn't like it. Fuck. Okay. Who likes daffodils in Stardew Valley? Apart from that, there's nothing new that I've been really doing in the game. Just the usual grind of like running around trying to make money during the day, or um, googling not stalkerish things like what's the best crop to put down in the spring, or like what's the best way to make money in the game. I figured this time might as well just say I'm doing like a cheese and wine playthrough. I'm doing a cheese and wine run, and I just make wine and cheese, and I also make mayonnaise. I make a lot of mayonnaise too, just because I
Josh
had to
needs
get like,
mayo.
yeah, give me the mayo. This is the Midwest, god damn it. We need all the mayo we can get. But it's just mayo, cheese, and wine. It's a really confusing time on the farm when people stop by and they're like, "Oh, are you growing like any chili peppers?" Like, no, it's mayo, cheese, and wine. Everything else is secondary.
No peppers
No,
for you.
yeah, get off my land.
Well,
Yeah, that's pretty much all I did. Have you been playing anything this week?
so I can happily say that this morning I did get up and play Animal Crossing. So last night I actually spent some time getting rid of all the spoiled turnips that have been on my island for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, the horde.
Yeah, and I didn't realize this at first, but Josh, I told you this last night, but uh there was there's a few places that'll store my turnips. I don't put them in my house. I just stick
Yeah,
them.
well,
Go ahead.
you're a crazy person because you don't store them across the island. You just litter the outside of the shop because where else are you gonna sell them? You can't sell them
Right.
anywhere else. Why would you put them anywhere else?
Yeah.
But your
Well,
crazy ass is just like, yeah, I'll buy that, and you just drop it right in front of you.
so where I store them outside of where Nook's Cranny is, I will store them in my backyard where my house is, and then if I have a few extra, I'll put them by the beach that my house is by, or like the sand area, and then probably by a few trees that are nearby. So that way, if I go to the Nook's Cranny and they're like, "Oh, it's 400 bells a turnip," I can just run outside, grab all the turnips I can, and go inside.
Hmm.
Well, 3 or 4 weeks ago, when I bought millions and millions of turnips, I had stored them across the river where Nook's Cranny is located, and I had rows and rows of freaking spoiled turnips over there. And I said, "Oh my god!" So like for people who like are listening to this right now, you'd understand like what Animal Crossing is all about because you can only store so many things in your inventory when you're walking around, and you can also like you can only like click as many things like if that makes sense like
That makes
at a
no
time,
sense.
right?
You can only click 30 things in 10
at,
minutes,
at
then
a
you just have
time.
to
No,
stop
I mean
clicking.
like when you're trying to sell something, you can only give Timmy and Tommy the stuff that's in your inventory, so it's not a lot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
essentially, what I'm
I
trying to
understand
say,
that.
yeah, essentially what I'm trying to say is you got to keep going back and forth between the stuff that you have outside, inside. So imagine only having like one spoiled turnip to go pick up, and having to do that 30 more times because you stored it across the way of the river and the freaking beach that's across from your house. So that was just me last night going back and forth, trying to clean up this
Yeah,
stupid island.
which adds to the insanity of why you keep like you're like Ron Swanson from
Oh
Parks and Rec because he keeps like caches of like gold all over
my gosh.
uh, wherever they live. I forget where they are, but
Yeah.
like he just has like different duffel bags like around the city just stashed, and that's you with your turnips.
Yep.
But I'm sure you forget often where those turnips are.
Exactly.
Like you go over a hill and you're just like, oh fuck, it was like a million
Oh my
turnips
god.
here.
What are all these
Jeez,
turnips here?
what the hell?
all my villagers are like, hey, Isabel, could you like tell Caitlin to clean the island? Like, I don't want to do
Yeah,
it, but like, make her do it, please. I'll give it a 1 star.
I was gonna ask. Yeah, like what was your island rating before and after?
Oh man, I should have checked, but
This place
it's
was a dump
it's
for
literally
3 weeks.
it's only it's only been 3 stars since the last time I checked, which has been months now. But I
Okay.
should I should go on there later and see what it is. But aside from all the thousands of rotten turnips that have been on my island, I got thousands more of fresh turnips for the week, and the buy price was 101. So we'll see what happens this week because that's kind of high. It's not the highest, but like it's still pretty up there.
Did you have like a Joe Exotic moment when you were cleaning up and you like just like the sheer number of turnips you let go to waste and you're like, I will never
Oh my
financially recover from
god,
this.
yes, I actually did have that moment. It was like last week. It was I was with the kids and they like to play my Animal Crossing game, so they were like looking at my island and just doing random stuff, and I'm like, God, look at all those rotten turnips. I'm never gonna financially recover from this because like I said in the last episode, there has been a time where like I just invested in turnips and then I just stopped and I was like, oh no, oh god, what am I gonna do with all these turnips that I haven't sold?
Yeah.
Because like you buy them 10 at a time, right? But they all
Yeah.
condense into one turnip when they go rotten. So then they're only 100 bells. So it's like,
Oh, really?
oh god, yeah.
I've never had rotten turnips. I've literally had like moments when I'm like just before bed. This is in the past, obviously, because I haven't been playing for a while. But
Mhm.
like I'll be in bed at night, and it'll be like Thursday night, and the shop's closed, but I still have like a fuck ton of turnips left. I'm like,
Yep.
shit, I'm gonna waste so many bells.
Yep.
I don't care if I think I've sold at a loss before because I'm just like I'd rather sell this now
Right.
and get some kind of return than like have them spoil because I didn't know you could sell them at the time. It
So
was
yeah,
you who told me that.
you can still sell your rotten turnips. They just are 100 bells, and it's only one turnip, so
Ooh,
it's all right.
trash.
Aside from that, aside from me buying cajillion turnips, oh, one thing I wanted to mention was Daisy May. I always forget that she does this, and you do it weekly for those of you who just play this religiously. But she like chants to the gods about the turnips. She's like, turnips, turnips.
Yeah, she's
You
always
know,
hyping up the turnips. Like,
she's like,
lady, I'm
watch
gonna
them
buy them
grow.
anyways.
It's like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna go flop these in front of my house. I'll be right back. You keep
Daisy,
chanting though.
you already made the sale. I'm here.
she
Just let me buy it,
says
please.
it every time you buy it too, and it's like, yeah, I know what's going on right now. Oh, also, I can't wait to get bamboo suits in my freaking mail tomorrow. Oh boy,
Bamboo what?
suits. Is that the word?
I don't know what you're trying to. Are you trying to say shoot?
No, I thought it was SOOTS. Like she sends you like seeds, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those are bamboo shoots.
I thought they were suits.
Mm-mm.
Is that even a word?
At least I don't think so. Well, yeah, soot is a word.
Anyways, today I talked to a few residents. I didn't talk to all of them, but I talked to Stella and Tank. And Tank was basically like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while," and I was like, "Yeah, it's been like 3 weeks." And he's like, "There, it's not just this resident, but they like to say like, did I do something wrong? Are you mad at me?" And it's like, no, I just literally haven't got on because I'm lazy. It's like if Stella ever told me that, I'd be like, it's not your fault, okay?
Yeah, this will never happen most likely, but it would be really cool if they did like a Hobbit esque thing where if you don't play for so long, you get back on and they're like auctioning off your shit, like in the Hobbit with Bilbo and
Yeah.
I think your name's Lobelia, Lobelia Sackville Baggins. I think that's her name. But it'd be really cool if they did that. Like they're walking away with your spoons or something.
They have like my diner or my kitchen is basically a diner themed, so they take all my like booths and my
Oh,
tables and my fridge. I'm like, you goddamn
and the,
fuckers, get back
and like
here.
the straw that breaks the camel's back. They take that ice cream cone, the soft glow ice cream lamp you have, and
Yeah.
you're like, you son of a bitch.
Just because I didn't give it to you doesn't mean you get
You're
take.
moving out. You're out of here. Do we want to talk about the new stuff we watched this week, bro?
Yeah, so Josh and I have been watching our regular things. So the next thing that is on our list is to talk about Loki,
Yeah.
obviously, since it's current and every week.
And I just want to get this out of the way right now. I was so wrong about my prediction for Florida Loki. I was so excited
Oh,
because I thought,
wait. Spoiler warning.
yeah, I guess so. Spoiler. There's a Florida Loki. So when I first saw, well, we saw it. We watched it together, obviously. When we first saw that end credit scene, the kid was holding an alligator or a crocodile. I don't know what the difference is, but regardless, I thought like that duo, like comprised like a Florida Loki, like he was from Florida and that's his pet, a crocodile, and they were just gonna like he was just gonna be like the most chaotic of all of them because Florida's known for like crazy stuff going down. But then it turned out to be completely different, where that crocodile is just like its own kind of Loki, and in my mind he's still from Florida. Like Asgard is
Right.
Florida in that realm in that AU,
Right.
and the kid was something completely different. He was the one who killed Thor in his that was his Nexus event. I
Hmm.
wish we could have seen more of boastful Loki because they had that little thing in the middle there where like they were all like backstabbing each other, which I thought was funny. I thought like they didn't really get into his hammer because like they gave him that hammer. I was like, oh shit, is that like
Yeah.
is that like Mjolnir? Like, is this like a thing where he's like the Loki that was worthy and could hold Mjolnir? But like, they didn't really get into it, which I would have liked to have
Right.
seen. And of course, you and I, we both love classic or classy Loki.
Yeah,
Even more
he
so
was
with the
great.
with this new episode where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm like a master magician." He's like, "I'm so good at illusions."
What I liked about this episode was seeing all the different variants of
Yeah,
Lokis and them just popping up out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, okay. The one thing that I was just like kind of surprised about was like how quick they just kind of got rid of them because they're like all
yeah.
fighting, you know. And so I was like, oh, that was like 2 seconds of other Lokis, and then nothing
Well, I
else, you
imagine
know.
like they didn't want to overplay like all the Lokis. They're like, "Oh, here's a Loki,
And
there's a
that's
Loki,
that's
here's a Loki,
fair.
there's a Loki." And it's just like there's not much plot.
It's just interesting because they've made a Funko Pop figurine already of like that
Oh,
President Loki or whatever
really?
they're
Yeah.
calling him. Yeah, so it's just like he was in there for like 2 minutes, and I was like, "Here's the Funko Pop." um, I did like the Mad Max esque
Yeah.
Loki. You, I thought
He
that
had
was really funny. That's what I was calling him because he had like
yeah,
handlebars
for his
on his
horns.
head as his
Yeah.
crown. Yeah, but I just thought that was funny. Like that's what I was relating it to, but I don't know if that was inspired by anything
Yeah, I don't,
specific.
I don't,
But
I don't, I don't think they even named that Loki. Maybe in the credits, like it's like, oh, trash yard Loki or something.
yeah, I'm sure it's in a wiki
Yeah,
page somewhere.
I bet he has like a backstory and everything too.
Also, okay, you know how we like called the other episode "simping for Owen Wilson." I caught myself down bad this morning because I was looking at pictures online, like on Instagram or something, and there was just a bunch of stuff of Mobius and Loki. That's kind of what my explore page is
Okay.
right now. And oh my god, I just saw a video of classic Loki and Owen Wilson just talking, and I was just like, "Oh my god, Owen
Owen
Wilson!"
Wilson.
I was just like, I literally paused and I said, "Oh
Oh
god,
no.
whoa god, oh no." So I thought that was really funny, but I love his character, and they said goodbye and whatnot. I wonder if he's gonna be the last episode.
What, classy Loki?
Sorry, Owen Wilson.
Oh, I hope so. We haven't seen too much of him. Like from like the trailer, I thought he was going to be much. He would have a much larger part than he did. Not to say
Right.
that he has a minute part, but I figured like we'd see him all the time.
I'm sure we'll see him.
Yeah, in the season finale. Which, by the way, this is a mega spoiler warning. This is like the new episode hasn't come out yet, but I used a trick that our sister taught us to figure out what might happen in the season finale. So if you potentially don't want to hear something that could potentially spoil what's going to happen this upcoming Wednesday, stop listening for like the next few seconds or a minute.
Now, are you talking about me, sister, or Tiffany's sister?
Tiffany's sister, not you.
Okay. What's her trick? What's going on here?
The way the way she taught us to figure out if like how many episodes a character is going to be in is that IMDb includes like how many episodes a character will be in a show contractually, like they're
Got you.
contracted for.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I was on there because I thought Classy Loki was the butler from Haunted Mansion,
yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
not. But when I was doing when I was looking that up, it said that he's going to be in there for 3 episodes, and he's only been
Oh,
in two.
classic Loki.
Yeah, Classy Loki's contracted to be there for three
Oh.
episodes, but there's only been 2 episodes with him in it, and that includes the end credit scene of 2 weeks ago. And
Ooh.
this week's gonna be the season finale, so he's gonna be making a comeback.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Apart from that, I don't know what else to talk about in that show. Like what
That's
really happened.
basically what happened. Besides them like going up against the boss, you know.
Yeah, I guess there's something to say about like I like that little bit at the beginning of the episode when the Lokis were trying to explain it to our Tom Hiddleston Loki, like, where is everybody? Like, why is it just us? And he's like, dude, this is where the TVA throws people to get rid of them, and the only people who like really survive are Lokis because that's just what we
Yep.
do. We betray and we live.
Yep.
I thought that was like a really nice touch. Any final note from you
That's kind of all that's I was thinking about.
before we start talking about the newest episode of My Hero? There's a point of order to a correction, if you will. Last week, I was talking about my
Oh,
feelings about them doing a mid-season break because I thought that's what was happening at the time. But in the time since, you've actually came up to me and told me that that's not what was going down. There was some event going on in Japan where it's a highly respected thing that occurs like once a year or something, and
yeah.
they all actually just take a break for that weekend and attend some function or whatever.
I don't know what specifically it was, but there was just something going on in Japan that weekend. I didn't see what the article said, but it was just like, oh, they're taking a break for this weekend because there's like probably something equivalent to like America's holiday, like Memorial Weekend or Labor Day weekend.
Mm.
There's probably something similar in Japan going on the previous weekend, so they just didn't post that day. But we saw the new episode.
Yeah, and after we figured that out, we went, shit. Okay, cool. At least there's a new episode.
Yes.
And
Sorry, I just sent you a quiz.
yeah, I saw it pop up. That's what the lull was.
Do you
But
want to do that first before we get into the episode, or do you want to do it after we talk about the
let's do it
episode?
after. I just want to talk about the episode for a second because
Okay.
although we were wrong factually about last week regarding new episodes, I'm still holding somewhat of a grudge about like this season because in a sense like nothing's really happened. They've been good episodes, but nothing's happened. And now that I've like caught up to and surpassed where we are in the anime, in the manga, I want to see this really cool thing coming up because our brother told us that like shit's gonna go down in this
Hmm.
arc. And when I first heard that, I was like, "Oh, that's sick! That's fucking awesome!" I was like, "Oh, is it gonna be better than the Yakuza arc with Overhaul, or like,
Yeah.
is it like, are we gonna get some really cool shit going down?" And I was talking to you, I was talking to him through you, and you just said it's gonna be fucking crazy. And I caught up. I read the arc, and I was like, "Yeah, this is fucking dope. This is gonna be the shit." And I keep waiting for
I
it to
really need to
happen.
catch up on that.
Yeah, you do because I don't know if they're gonna get to it. There's an arc concerning the League of Villains, and it's fucking awesome. And they've hinted at it. There have been like little sequences in the show where they're just kind of giving us an idea of what's going on, but they need to show what happens because in the manga, I was surprised by this. They actually went to like My Villain Academia. They named like an issue of that, or
Oh.
just like that, and the arc was just like what the league's been up to with all these months that they're like not really in the news or doing anything evil
Hmm.
per se, but like what they've actually been up to. And I want to see it animated because it's going to be really fucking cool.
Yeah.
But yet,
I haven't been reading it, but
like
it sounds interesting. But like, I would agree with you with this season going on right now. We actually were sitting down looking at all the episodes. We have a subscription to Funimation right now, and what's really cool is, side note, is the English actors that dub the episodes. They're like an episode behind or something like that. So as we're looking through all these episodes, Josh was also making note that how many episodes are there currently? Did we say there's
I
like,
think 16.
yeah, it was like roughly around that number, and he was kind of taking note that in every season there's roughly about 24 episodes,
Yeah,
and so it's just like nothing's really happened. So it's like what's going to go on in the last half of the season,
yeah.
or like are we just going to be left hanging until season 6?
And one could even like make the argument that that's usually when they like to ramp it up because I think that happened in the Overhaul arc where like the
Yeah.
first half they were just kind of like, oh, this is going on. You guys are gonna start some work studies, and there was some background
Hmm.
stuff that we just wouldn't notice because we could watch it back to back, like we could binge episodes at a time, and
Right.
then like the next thing you know, um, Deku has joined the Sir Night Eye agency with Mirio, and now they bump into Overhaul, and you're like, oh, who's this? Who's this little girl in bandages? Like you're just there.
Who's this weird looking man with a mask?
Yeah, which we touch on every time we watch My Hero. Uh, no, sorry, we touch on this every time we talk about watching My Hero, and that
Hmm.
like this is a very good show to watch, and it's amazing when you can watch it back to back. But
Right.
if you're just sitting there for like a whole week and you get to like this episode where like nothing really happens and they're kind of jumping or they're not jumping, but they're kind of like beating around the bush for this arc that I want to see happen, but like they're just not doing it. It's almost frustrating. Like I just want to see that now, please. Like with the fights between Class 1A and 1B, like they saved Deku for last, Deku v Shinso, and they spent like two, I think in one case 3 episodes for the other matches, and I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like to a certain extent, they should have done what they did with the examinations thing, where like they they had like one or two important bouts. Like they had Yaomomo and Todoroki versus Aizawa, and that was like I think that was an episode in itself. But they also included Froppy and Tokiyami, and
Hmm.
like theirs was very quick in relation to the other episode. But no, like every fight got 2 episodes. Nothing seriously went down. I mean, they had Shinso in the first bout. I already talked about this, but yeah, I feel like they're really slowing it down to give time for other things, probably.
Yeah.
But I just want to see it now. I've waited 12 weeks, 16 weeks, whatever the
I
total
did
number
my
of episodes.
waiting.
Yeah,
12 weeks of it.
in Azkaban.
Okay, but literally, it has been so long. It's crazy to think about. First of all, we've just been watching this every week.
Hmm.
It doesn't even feel like it's been
Religiously,
that long, but literally, it's been 12 weeks, or maybe 16, because of however many episodes there are. They come out every freaking week,
except for last week.
except for the previous one. But I think it's crazy that we've just been watching this so long. It's gonna be Christmas by the time they're like, okay, season 6
Yeah,
next year.
it'll be time, yeah, for the Christmas episode, and then we'll think back to now, where 2 weeks ago they were just like Christmas episode. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah,
Christmas?
what's that? There's a League of Villains arc that we need to do. Nah, just do the Christmas episode because they have I haven't seen the Christmas bit yet. Because I know there's a Christmas like edition coming up soon because it's on the wiki that I read. Like they do the thing like they did in the show where they just have a Christmas, but for some reason there has to be some reason, and I want to know why when it comes out, why they skipped over the League of Villains arc.
I do like in the preview that there's an addition to Uraraka's costume. And
Oh
I'm kind
yeah,
of excited to see what that is.
yeah,
And that looks kind of interesting. She's got like these, I don't know what to call them, but she basically has what Bakugo has,
yeah.
where they're like, is gauntlet? Is that a good word to say?
I would say in Bakugo's case, yes, Gauntlet, but like Uraraka's,
They're similar.
yeah, like Uraraka's is more like a huge bracelet.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting what she's going to use that for.
Oh, actually, I want to talk about this too. This is just like a side thing apart from everything that's going on that
Sure.
I've seen TikToks on, and it was in the show too, but they just kind of dropped it at that point. You know how like Uraraka went from like her like the very small amount of character development that she's had in the past 5 seasons went from like I just want to like be able to use my quirk so I can help my parents at work to
Yeah.
I want to save people, and then she was like I don't want to just save people, I want to kick ass. So she joins
Right.
Gunhead's
Yeah.
agency. They did this in the beginning part of the show where it was the training that they did with like the bomb with All Might in like season 1. Do you remember?
Like a scenario with the kids?
Yeah, it was Deku and Uraraka versus Tenya and Bakugo. And
Oh,
Bakugo
yeah,
and
yeah,
Tenya.
yeah.
So this is a point where it brought up because you know how like in that first fight it's Deku v Bakugo and Deku punches up and like breaks all the floors and then Uraraka slams the rocks at Tenya.
Right.
Well, that's what people have been bringing up recently on like TikToks that I've seen, like how they're seriously nerfing Uraraka because Uraraka can make things weightless, but she can still swing them and they retain their mass and momentum.
Right.
So why isn't
I remember
she?
this TikTok.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why isn't she carrying around a fucking battle hammer, using her quirk to turn off the weight, and just fucking beating in someone's skull with it?
Right.
Like that's not a hero thing to do,
Well,
obviously, but like that's certainly something she should be doing.
I agree with that, and I saw that TikTok, so I get what they're saying. It's also some kind of detailed thing, probably being like, well, she obviously doesn't have like. There's some law in this universe where they have to have some license that gives them the right to hit a villain, because pro heroes, there has to be some kind of defense thing going on.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about she walks
right.
into like a 7-Eleven when
But-
Shigaraki's trying to get a Slurpee and
But-
just beat him to death with something. I'm saying like she's in a fight and they're trying to kill people.
What I'm saying is she's still in that class, so she can't have that battle axe yet.
Oh, she can totally have a support item. What are you talking about?
She can't use it though yet.
She could use it in a fight. What do you mean?
She needs one to practice with, but she can't. Can she use it with her provisional license?
Yeah. It's a support item. You
Oh,
just have to
okay.
register it. You just have to be like, yo, I need this for my quirk. And they're going to
I
be like,
wasn't
yeah,
sure
okay.
if it was because I didn't know if like the provisional license could allow her to do that. But if that's the case, then yeah, give her that fucking axe and go
In
for it.
extreme cases, they're allowed to act as if they were fully licensed heroes. Now,
Got
does
you.
that mean that she can walk around with a fucking hammer, like in her street clothes? No, probably not. But like,
Okay,
you know, if
fair,
she
fair
was like
point.
on the clock at the agency that she works at with Suyu, you know, she'd probably have that fucking hammer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for Uraraka to just kill people for like no
Give
reason.
that queen an axe.
Yeah. Like imagine like in that little arc when it was like summer vacation and Shigaraki like grabbed Deku's throat in that shopping mall
Mhm.
and Uraraka was like, is that like a friend? Imagine if she had a hammer and just like fucking beat him over the head with it.
Is that Shigaraki from the League of Villains? Deku,
Is that a
watch
friend?
out!
Here's my hammer. Like, but I've also seen other people like taking it like even a step further because another facet apart from like battle items for support are like trapping items where Aizawa has his binding cloth or whatever. Somebody was
Mhm.
like, she should just get like a ship anchor and chain, use her quirk to make it weightless and just yeet it at people, and the second it like
Yeah,
wraps around them, like turn it off, and like they can't go
nice.
anywhere unless they have like super strength or something, or like it's
Yeah.
Shigaraki and he can disintegrate it. But yeah, like they've just seriously like nerfed what she could potentially do as a hero. She like only uses it to like lift things. But yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Do we want to take this quiz now?
Yeah, so let's get into that real quick. Do you have it up?
I am opening it now. Yep, it's open.
All right, why don't you start?
Well, we're not going to take the quiz now and then say what it is. We're going to tell you what it is. It's the which character from My Hero Academia are you? And the first question is pick a superpower. You've got invisibility, super strength, time travel, mind control, super speed, or flight.
I always hate this question because I want them all.
Well, I want like super intelligence. Then you can just invent stuff for the other stuff.
That's very true.
But that's
I'm
not an option now. So I will probably go with flight. Imagine being Hawks.
gonna go for time travel.
But you could be like
Time
Hawks
travel.
though and be like, oh yeah, I want to go to you know, I want to fly over to the East Coast and get a slice of pizza. It'll take you like an hour.
Yeah, I would use the time travel though. Like if something massive happened, I just go back in time and be like, "Hey, get your guys ready. There's gonna be something
So you
big
so
going
you
on."
like with your first use of the power, you would destroy time and space probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just want to destroy the universe. Yeah, if I could.
I'm gonna go for the League of Villains. All right, what is your greatest strength? My, my intelligence.
Yeah,
Yeah, clearly that one, as
my
I
ability
can't
to
even
read.
read.
Damn it.
Lying, lying and deceiving. My strategic thinking. My combat skills. My empathy or my physical strength.
This is the thing that I don't like about some of these quizzes, where it's like I don't know if lots of people have this problem, but I don't think I could pick one of these and wholeheartedly believe it.
Right.
Like I'm not a walking brick wall, but like I don't think I'm that intelligent, and I don't think I'm like SpongeBob with like weightlifting, but I do have physical strength.
Yeah. I would say your intelligence probably for
Yeah,
you.
like what would I use to like get out of a situation? Like I'd probably think about stuff and
Yeah.
then fuck it up somehow.
I said my empathy.
Choose a partner. Oh god, I don't know who any of these people are except for
I
one.
have no. There's one person that I
I'm sorry if I
kind of
mess up
know.
these names, but we've got Katsuhira Agata, Osamu Dazai, Genos, Sailor Uranus, Miyoshi, and then Karma Akabane. I only know one of these people, and I know Genos.
I don't. I was gonna go for Sailor Uranus or Uranus, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I'm going for Karma Akabani. I have no idea who that is.
Akabane. Isn't that from Angel Beats? I know
No,
this is
there's.
gonna like really eat time, but I'm just gonna Google all these fucking people. Oh, he's
Well,
from
I'll
Assassination
explain.
Classroom. Okay.
Oh, gotcha. Well, so I follow this artist on Instagram, which everybody listening to this should go follow if you're on Instagram.
Who is it again?
She, her name, I don't actually know her name. I'll put the.
Follow this person. Who is it? I don't know.
I don't. It doesn't really make sense because it's just a bunch of letters, but I'll look it up real quick. She made an what do you call it? Like an OC for My Hero Academia, and the character's name is Akabane. So it's just such a good artist, and I'm gonna find it real quick.
While you're looking it up, I looked
Yeah.
up Katsuhiro Ogata. They're from the anime known as Kisnavier. Kisnavier? Yeah, I've never heard of that anime either.
Okay, so the artist on Instagram is prmths.c. So I don't even know how you would pronounce that, but they have an OC named it's Akabane, but I don't know what her last name is or however the order that goes.
Well,
God damn it, whatever.
Osamu Dazai is also someone. Oh, he's from the Bungo Stray Dogs. Never seen that ever. I don't know if you know this, Caitlin, but Genos, that's the one that I know for sure. That's
Yeah.
from One Punch Man. He's the robot dude.
Oh.
And then we have Sailor Uranus, obviously from Sailor Moon. Who the
So
hell is
that
that
OC that I
OC?
was just talking about, her name is Akabane Hazuki. That's her name, and that's the OC that she's created. Amazing, amazing artist. Amazing story of this OC. It's great.
Did you just stop taking this quiz and now you're just talking about the OC you follow
Well,
on
I
Instagram?
was saying, I was just talking about it because you were looking up the anime
Oh, I'm
characters
sure.
from other
Yeah,
ones. So
yeah.
if you're done,
Anyways,
I'm ready.
well, no, I have one more. It's Miyoshi. I'm doing this for you just in case there's someone you know. They're
Okay.
Miyoshi's from an anime called Joker Game. Never heard of it. I'm picking
Nope.
Janos. Move on.
All right.
Stop talking about
Next
your
question.
OC Instagram stuff. Just plug the person and let the listeners
I love you,
do their
Akabane.
thing. Yeah.
All right. So the next question is, what do you value the most? And we've got victory, revenge, staying alive, power, money, friends and family.
Oh God.
Mine would probably just be friends and family,
I,
straight
I like paying bills, but that's not really. I,
up.
I could take it or leave it. I just like not being in debt. That sounds fun.
Right.
I'm not in debt, but I'd like the idea of not being in debt if that makes sense. But I'm just gonna pick friends and family. I'm gonna go full Vin Diesel.
I'm
What is your greatest fear? Wasting time, deceit, the past, failure, death, losing my loved ones.
gonna say failure.
Probably failure too for me as well. It's your turn.
Oh, sorry.
Just tuning out, thinking about the OC.
Be being a dictator. I was actually thinking about Deku's costume.
Oh.
So, how do you react under pressure? I ignore it. I'm not bothered by it. I give into it. I keep a level head. I work around it. Or pressure? Question
Sure.
mark?
Here's the thing. None of those cover what I actually do. I will worry about it while doing stuff, but then it'll just boil over and I will freak out.
So I would say that I feel like I keep a level head, but I also work around it in the sense that I freak out in my head, but I'll take it like whatever's happening in front of me. So,
I don't think so.
well, you've never seen me at work, so
I've seen you around a wasp before.
that's fair.
Turn into a toddler.
See, that's the question though. It depends on the situation.
Depends on the pressure.
Depends on the pressure. What pressure we're talking about?
Yeah, is it like work pressure or is there a wasp in the room?
I'm gonna just say I work
Is,
around it
is there a wasp in my car while I'm going 70 in my car that was made in the 90s?
then.
People would describe you as untrustworthy, reliable, quiet, unpredictable, intelligent, funny. My mom says I'm the funniest person I know. Boom.
You're intelligent and funny.
Well, mom only says I'm funny, so
I'm
boom.
gonna say I'm quiet. Choose an anime. So we've got Kiz Navier.
Yeah, I don't know how to read that word.
We've got Joker Game, and then we've got Bungao Stray Dogs. Haven't you heard? I'm Sakamoto, and then Tanaka-kun is always listless, and Assassination Classroom.
So does BuzzFeed only watch like 7 animes?
I guess
I've
I'm
seen a
picking
scene.
Assassination Classroom.
Yeah, I've seen a scene from Assassination Classroom. Who would you go on an adventure with? Sakamoto, Hinata Shoyo, Tanaka-kun, Sawamura Aijun, Mahiro Fuwa, or Lavi? I'm going with Hinata Shoyo.
Is he from Haikyuu?
Yeah, that's the Haikyuu guy.
Then I'm also choosing
Yeah,
that one.
I'm only like there are 2 reasons why I'm picking him. 1, he's the only one that I know. 2, he's really cool.
All right. Do you have what it takes to be a hero? Yes. No. Maybe. Undecided. I want to be a villain. I already am a hero. I hate this question.
Yeah, this is a weird one.
I'm gonna say maybe.
I'm gonna say maybe too. Like we'll figure it out. Who'd you get?
Oh God. I got Katsuki Bakugo.
I also got Katsuki Bakugo. We answered the
I
same on
am
most
not.
things.
I am not Bakugo. I can tell you this right
I'm
now.
Bakugo to you.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm just mean. Hey, Caitlin, go fuck yourself.
Just a bully to me every day.
Yeah, and you're Deku to me because you're like, oh hey bro, how's it going? Go fuck yourself.
I hate you.
That was fun. Not knowing most of the questions and not knowing most of the questions, not knowing most of the answers to the questions, or being reduced to one answer just out of like default, where it's just like, no, I
Yeah.
don't know anyone but this dude, so
Yeah,
going with that one.
exactly.
Or getting a
Process of
question,
elimination.
or a question that's just like something I don't feel like I could answer completely honestly.
Yeah.
Like, what'll get you out of a fight? How smart you are? Like, I don't know how many times being smart has gotten someone out of a bar fight, but I'm sure it's helped at least a couple times.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
What a fun quiz! Take this quirky quiz.
That's literally us every episode.
Yeah, I was just like, just take this
quirky
quiz.
quiz.
Yeah.
Let's end it with Luca, okay?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So, first of all, I wanted to say that I watched this movie with the kids that I babysit, and I'd never seen it, and I just saw the previews for it, and I was mesmerized. I was like so happy that this was a movie, basically. I thought it was so good. It was so cute. It was just a perfect movie, and it's like a good movie for summer. Like three kids hanging out.
Three kids just vibing.
Just vibing. So then I introduced it to Mom and Josh, and we're like, okay, let's watch this. And then I watched it a third time with the kids again. So one would say that I do like this movie.
Meanwhile, the whole time I watched it, I was thinking Coco was better.
The one thing about it is this movie does not have any like songs, so like none of the characters sing. So
I don't care about that. Coco was better. Take out all the singing parts in Coco. It's still better.
So one thing I just really love about this movie is literally these kids are just vibing. That's all it
Yeah,
is, and they're
it's just
going
a
on
vibe.
an adventure. And the main thing about this movie is they want to partake in this race that always happens every year wherever they live. I'm not sure
Well,
where they live, but
Well, they didn't want to like be in the race. They just need it because they want to get the
oh
Vespa.
well, the whole thing was an adventure. I guess is the main thing. So we have Luca, obviously Alberto, and Julia as the main cast. The dad also was just an amazing character of himself.
Yeah, I like the dad. Dad was cool.
One thing I really liked
can vibe.
was like I want to say the range of characters in the sense that like they gave the dad one arm, right?
Yeah.
And so there's one part in the movie where they're like, Alberto's like looking at the dad's arm because he doesn't have it there, and he's like, "Oh, a sea monster ate it," and Alberto being a sea monster is like, what? But then he's like, "Oh, I was just born like this," and I really liked that. I thought that was a very good touch to his character and whatnot.
My favorite part with the dad was just like over the time of the movie, they meet this character, Julie's dad, and he's like, one might say he's stoic and a little bit off-putting because he's like very frowny.
Right.
And he makes like penne pasta or whatever the first thing he made was, and they all loved it. And he comes to adore these other two kids that are friends with his daughter.
Right.
And then what's his name runs away, Alberto.
Yeah.
And the dad is making penne pasta for whatever the hell that dish was for dinner that night. And he's like, "Oh, where's Alberto?" And then I want to keep saying linguine from Ratatouille, but fucking the main character, Luca, thank you. Luca's like, "Oh, he left. He's not coming back. He ran away." And the dad's like, "Well, it's raining. Are you sure? I'm just gonna go look for him." I was like, "Oh, you're such a cool guy."
Yeah.
This man.
He just like got really close to this kid.
Yeah. The rest of the movie, I was like, I don't care. Don't care. The other interesting fact was the uncle is voiced by Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh my god. Oh, can we talk about the cast real quick?
Sure.
So, I don't know the kids who voiced Julia, Luca, and Alberto.
Yeah.
But the parents, we've got Maya Rudolph,
Now this
and
is
Jim
Luca's
Gaffigan.
parent. This is Luca's
Yeah,
parents.
Luca's parents are Jim Gaffigan and Maya Rudolph, and they were part like funny part of I can't even say it. Good lord,
Can't even speak.
Luca's parents, they were like a good chunk of like comedy to me. The parents are just so funny, like especially the dad. He chucks this kid into the water because he thinks it's Luca, and he's like, oh no, we gotta run away. I just that was one part that was just great.
Yeah, they were funny.
But sorry, who did you say? Sacha Baron Cohen
Yeah.
is the uncle?
Yes, he plays Uncle Ugo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, that's him.
Wow, that's amazing. Sorry, I'm looking at the cast right now.
I'm also, when you said you didn't know who any of these people were, I was like, really? Not a single one? I was like, Jim Gaffigan, Maya Rudolph, okay. Sacha Baron Cohen. I don't know anyone else. In one of the scenes, Jim Gaffigan playing, Luca's father, they're running around with Maya Rudolph, who plays the mom, and they're looking for Luca, and they pass by the movie theater, and they see like a 1960s
Right.
esque movie poster, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like creature from the deep, and the dad Jim Gaffigan looks at it. He goes, "Ugo,"
Ugo?
and I just thought that was a nice touch. I thought it was funny because it looked like the Uncle Ugo.
Overall, I just thought this movie was drawn beautifully. The location of where it's set is amazing.
Oh, one thing about it too, the music was fantastic.
Music, that's the
the
other thing I was
music
going to
was
say. It
really
was
good.
just great. Everything about this movie was awesome, and there was an animator or somebody in this Pixar team for this movie that I follow on Instagram now that she like based a lot of these characters off of her family herself, which is
Oh,
mainly what Pixar and Disney do. Is
mm-hmm.
the creators will just take from life.
Mm.
And it's amazing looking at what she was inspired by and what she brought into the movie because she like the character, that woman character who runs the event, the race or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that woman? She
Yes.
basically was like, "Oh, I based her hair color on my hair color," and she's like, "I also put my parents in here. I put my nonna and nano or however you say that. I'm not Italian, so I
Yeah.
apologize, but grandparents in there." So she just takes a lot of inspiration, which many movies do. But I just thought that was a really nice touch because she's Italian and she was able to convey the story in the way that she wanted. So that's another thing that I love. And that's what I love about all Disney Pixar stuff is that, oh, this movie's about my brother. Oh, this is about my parents. That's something I love learning about as well.
I guess another thing too, it's worth mentioning. Like I said, I think Coco's better, but we've been quoting that movie now for like ever since we saw it because they
Mm-hmm.
start off and they can't speak Italian because they live in like the waters of Italy, but they don't really speak Italian. But somehow they speak English. It's whatever. Of course, like Alberto's character is the one who's like he pretends he knows everything, but then like when it comes down to it, he has no idea what he's doing or saying.
Right.
And one of the things that I like to quote is when like he has that inner nagging voice. He's like Silenzio Bruno.
Yeah.
And so I've just been going around quoting that. But like the other parts too,
It's a
where
great quote.
yeah, but like the other quotes too, where like they tried learning Italian and they just like shouted at people,
Just
and
saying, hey, what's
it's
up, stupid?
yeah, they're like, what are you doing, stupid? What's going on?
That's a great thing. And
Yeah,
it's more funny when it's a kid because they really don't know anything,
yeah,
honestly.
like the adults can't really do anything. Like, well, hell, shit, I can't.
Well,
You know.
unless you're those two old ladies and they're like, how
Yeah,
dare
and I
you?
loved spoiler alert. I loved how those two old ladies were like actually fish people.
Yes.
I thought that was amazing.
I had a theory that the whole town was going to be full of sea monsters,
No, no.
but then it just turned out to be two of them, and I was like, oh, well, that's a kind of a quarter from my theory.
Yeah,
But it was good. It was a good touch that they had. Well, it's not that big of a surprise because grandma, like Luca's grandma, was like, "Oh yeah, I go up there and play cards with people sometimes."
yeah,
You know, it's so. I want to kind of talk about that real quick. It's just interesting that like grandma is like, "Oh yeah, I go up there sometimes. I do it. I do the change," and mom's like, "Oh my god, that's so dangerous," and then grandma's like, "It's not a big deal," and it's like nobody else has tried this. Don't ever do it. And I understand because like the times are different because they go out onto the land. People go out and they're like, we got to get these sea monsters. But I mean, in theory, it's not that bad, because like if they change, it's like you would never know until they got wet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, why don't you try and go up there, see what's going on over there,
Well, even like I might be misremembering this, but I think Maya Rudolph's character, the mom, really took to the change as well. Like when they got up there, I think the dad was like freaking out, like he's like, "Oh God, this is gonna be horrible! Oh my God!" And like she was also kind of she had trepidation about it.
Hmm.
Is that a right word? Am I just talking nonsense? She was also like anxious about it, but then she like got up there and she they made the change. And she was like, "Oh, I can do this. This is fine. This is fine." Like
Trepidation is a feeling of fear or agitation about something that may happen.
yes,
So, yeah.
because they're all scared about it.
Hmm.
Uh, but she did it, and then after like the first I don't know 5 minutes, she was fine. She was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we can do this. It's fine.
I wonder if like I don't know. I don't think we really specifically know whose mom is that. Like Luca's mom's mom or Luca's dad's mom. You know what I mean?
Oh, like the
Because like
grandma.
yeah, because if it's his mom's mom, like if those two are the ones that are actually related, I'm wondering if there's like some little side story where grandma went to the surface at one point and like checked it out, and then she told her daughter about it, and mom was just like, "Oh my god!" So then maybe she tried it, and it was like somebody found out, and it just got really scary. You know what I mean? And then she was like,
Yeah,
"Never go up to the surface," because when grandma comes out with that story, she's like, "Oh yeah, I go and play cards." Mom's like, "Oh my god, what are you saying? Don't tell him that."
yeah. I wonder if like there's like a little side story thing where young Maya Rudolph went up to the surface. She just like went to go like she was like Luca. She was also very curious, and she went up
Right.
there to go find out about it. And maybe she meets a friend and they find out, and the guy like freaks out, like there's like some crazy old coot on the island
Hmm.
who's like, there's fish people in the waters, we
Yeah.
gotta get rid of
Yeah.
them. And that's like Maya Rudolph's friend from like 30 years ago when she was like a wee
Right.
guppy.
But also, she mentions that boats back in her time didn't have a motor.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
like,
What's the
although
lifespan? What's the
I mean,
lifespan of these
although they've
people?
seen it when they're like swimming around on the bottom, but she's probably been up there and be like, "What's going on here?" So I feel like there's some behind the scenes thing that they didn't really touch on, but I feel like that's there. That's my theory.
Yeah, all good talking points, of
Yeah.
which we have no answers to. I'd love to see it though. I'd love to see a little short with Maya Rudolph.
Yeah.
And she like goes up to the surface, and like I want to see why she's like so
The way
like
she
she
is.
had
Yeah.
those thoughts on it at the beginning of the movie.
Another thing that I loved about this is the end, like credit scene, or not really scene, but actually there is a scene. Sorry, there's an end credit scene, and the credits there's just like sketches or like concept art that kind of shows you like what happens after Luca goes off to Julia's school. So there's like drawings of them wearing their uniforms or at school, and there's drawings of them hanging out with Julia's mom and they're painting. It's super
Yeah,
cute and
yeah, and like
amazing.
Julia's mom was just a vibe because in one of
Yeah,
those
she's totally
art
cool with it.
things, yeah, he turns into a like I think Luke is like posing or something
She's
for like
painting
a
him
painting.
as the
Yeah,
sea monster.
and the
Yeah,
mom's just like, no, let me get you some more paint, sweetie.
yeah.
I don't care. Your friend's a fish, whatever.
I think when you first saw the movie with me, at the end you're like, Luca's mom, or no, not Luca's, Julia's mom, very chill.
Yeah, very chill. Just like, oh, your friend's a fish, whatever.
You have a fish friend? All right.
All right, whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's end credit art that I love, and I love seeing. I like the concept of those and seeing, what's happening after he goes off to school and what happens to Alberto hanging out with the dad.
Yeah, I love that part. I love how Alberto he was just like, no, I'll just chill with this guy. Wait for you at the summertime, whatever.
I just want to like chill with your dad. Dad's pretty cool.
Yeah, he makes good penne pasta.
Yeah. And I love that relationship as well. But talking about the end credit scene real quick, it's literally just Uncle Ugo hanging out in the freaking
Oh yeah,
bottom of the sea eating whale carcass.
who was he with though? He was like talking to like what was it like one of the farm fish that they have?
Yes, he was talking to one of the little fish that Luca shepherds or whatever you want to call that.
Yeah, very very. I'm going to change my opinion on it after talking about it. I'm gonna change my rating from Coco was better to Coco was better, but it's still a very good movie.
Yeah. Okay, so one last thing I'll touch on for this movie is the story in itself. I just loved the idea of, Luca at the beginning. He has a set plan for his life. So obviously that's kind of a main topic for a lot of movies, especially like coming of age or whatnot. Like his parents are running this farm type thing in the sea, and so they're like, you need to go take care of this fish. You got to make sure this happens. Just don't go see any land people or whatever.
Yeah.
Now he's like very curious. He's a very curious person, and he's like, oh, what's that? Like, there's a surface. Like, what's this? And eventually, he's like, I want to go to the surface and see what it's like. And he goes through all these things. What I really loved was him coming to a realization what he wants out of his life. He learns that the stars aren't fish; they're balls of gas.
Yeah.
He learns all this stuff that it's just so interesting to him, and it's so fun to see him just his eyes light up, being like, "There's a whole other world. There's galaxies. What is this?" And he tells Julia, when you come back next summer, you need to tell me everything that you learned at school. And I just love that he comes to realization that he wants to go to school. He wants to explore this other life. Life isn't just about Vespas and gelato. And I just love that he comes to that realization, and that's what, for me, that's what makes it a good movie aspect for this little kid. And I almost cried because he was like so excited to learn about other things in the world. And he has two best friends to explore that with. He's got Julia, who is super excited about learning about the astronomy and whatnot. And then he's got Alberta, who
Astronomy
basically
and shit.
stars and things. But then he also has Alberto, who he first became best friends with.
Who's a himbo?
He shared what?
Who's a himbo?
Yeah, that he can share his interest with, like the Vespa and exploring this little area that they live in with Juliet's dad. So, yes, all in all, a very good movie, and I can't express that anymore. So that's my end topic.
Okay, well, we've reached the end. We've got nothing else to talk about. I've been Josh.
Yep. This is Caitlin.
And listen here, fella. Thanks for listening.